So, number one, cheers. Who knows what's in my bottle? It's water. I like to drink water out of a wine bottle.
Laura, I was late in ordering your book, but I'm extremely pleased at the amount of text there is. It's very well written. I'm very pleased. What a
Oh,
bargain.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm happy to see. It's fun to see people with the book.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been coloring a little bit.
Sweet.
Yes.
Indeed.
Mine's right here.
Yeah. It's such a
Aw,
value.
I'm gonna be working on the Spanish version this summer. That's my project
Wow.
for the summer, is to do Spanish version.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do, but I'm gonna be looking for a translator to help.
Yeah.
Someone
Me
who's
too.
got
I
more
was like,
technical
well, yeah, I can
technical language.
a little.
So here's a thought. I have we took in a Serbian exchange student when she was 17. She stayed her senior year with us, and she is very, I think, I don't know. Are you looking for translators just to like expand this into all languages?
My first well, I can just say that when I got the idea for the book, I always knew I wanted to have a Spanish version. I haven't thought much beyond that.
Okay.
I do speak Spanish, so that'll make even though I'm going to work with a translator who knows GNM, that's going to make the process easier. If it was another language that I would have no like quality control over,
Right.
I guess I'd have to really just trust the person that they I mean, I guess I feel like the best translators are going to be people that know GNM, just because the language is so specific.
Yeah.
The concepts are so specific. I'm not hung up that they're like a professional translator or a professional writer, but someone who it's their first language. Like for the Spanish one, I want to find someone who's native from a Latin American country, and then someone who knows GNM. So because the other thing is I need help with the resources. Like at the end of the English one, I put together a page of resources that I feel like are good places for people to go.
Yep.
So for like Spanish, I'm hoping the translator can help with the best ones in Spanish.
Yeah. Well, and on that, so Andrew Schledeman, however you say his last name, he translated The Psychic Roots of Disease. So he's been on this, he came to this call one time. So he may be, when you want to translate it to German, would be able to do that. And he knows he translates. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess the sky's the limit in terms of languages. It could go in lots of directions, but I just feel like for sure I want to work on Spanish. And I don't know if I'm making an assumption, but I feel like a lot of people in European countries speak English and can access high level information even in English. So I don't know if it's as important. Like I noticed on Amazon, I can actually see where the sales are. And there's a lot of sales in Germany and different places. So that means people are accessing it in English. But I don't know if it's everybody. I don't know if it's everybody, but it's like what I know when I've traveled and met people from Europe, it is impressive like how many people speak English. But yeah, I'm open. We'll see where it goes. But this summer, Spanish.
Okay, that's sweet. And so how are you? And just an update on this call. This call is about, hey, here I am, and this is how I'm still going forward with or without my symptoms. Some people have moved through their symptoms and are like, that's a blast of the past. And some people still have various symptoms. So this is about how can I still let my spirit shine as I'm working with my symptoms. So how are sales going? Like, do you have a number for us, or do you calculate that way?
I would say sells like a couple every day.
Okay.
Like a few every day, from 1 to 3 or 4 every day. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
And it's been out for how long? 4
Like
months?
3 months.
Okay.
3 months. And I haven't done a lot of social media. I'm gonna do a little bit this summer. of social media, but I'm not a big social media girl.
Right, right.
And that's totally okay. I was
Yeah.
trying to make some content and it felt really, I was like, wow, this is harder than I thought. But I am gonna do a little bit this summer just to promote it. But I feel like it has a life of its own and it'll just organically grow and
Yep, yep. Um,
yeah.
so that's a great transition. And we're skipping the breathing today. We're not breathing. Good morning, Michelle. Just ready to, I bet I got to catch up from 7 days away. So ready to blaze a trail. Breathe on your own, girls. No, we can actually take a deep breath. Yeah, I need to take a deep breath. So, yes, I wanted to explain, like, you'll see a little bit of different kind of maybe honing in on some things from my department, up your vibe department. So I actually discovered these two gals, Gabby and Deb King and Gabby, I'm not sure her last name. And they coach high end coaches. So basically, but they have talents. Like Gabby used to teach those $1 million coaches, those ones that had it figured out. So they basically have this bullseye program. It might have changed the name, that basically says, all the other coaches that do this, blah, blah, is a big waste of time. Narrow it down to you have giftings. So they basically get you through this process to go, Deanna, you do things a certain way. Like you have your I would say skill sets, but you have your I'm drawing a blank in what they call it. But these six categories, like I'm unique because I like to have fun. I like to teach GNM. Um, it's about all these different categories that I have basically developed a bunch of tools in. I have a cat that wants to come in. Oh, it's not a cat that wants to come in. It's a Pete. Pete. My construction guy, our construction's going on. So, they teach this course. So if anybody's like, oh, I want to get really good. So they teach the course and then they have a monthly thing. It's on Monday night that you can just keep going back and keep working on your tools and your follow up. So anyway, I wanted to use this because these are my 6 different categories that I like to work within, and really have some just discussion on these categories and leave you choosing 1 or 2, maybe something in each area that you can work on this week that makes you feel stronger, that brings you more focus, that helps you handle your symptoms better. So, and I'll just do a little presentation on really what the root of this. So obviously trust your body 100% is really understand that your body is doing the right thing. And the foundation of this is obviously understanding GNM. So that is at the top. Daily fun, even if you're having symptoms, even if you have this nagging brain that just keeps giving you this, oh, you're going to die, oh, you're going to whatever that is, how can you actually have fun with that? How can you turn that in? And I just got off with the gal that I was with last week, and she's like, she's an open book. So you could share my story. But her fear is her dog has had seizures, and so for 4 years she's been going down every rabbit hole to find answers outside of the body, outside. So her fear is, oh no, it's coming. And she's also had cramping and bleeding. So that fear, she's ready to menstruate. So that fear is looming today, especially because it's coming. in the next couple days. So she's like, oh, what's it going to be? So I was like, how can you play with this fearful thought of, oh no, it's coming? And so another one of the practitioners would say something, they called that thought Fred. It's like, how can you play with the dreaded Fred? So that was just the conversation. It's like, hey, Fred the dread, we're not doing that anymore. You can go and play in the trees or something. So how can you take that fearful that will only bring more of what you don't want, and how can you play with it? Because our thoughts definitely, who has thoughts that try to take over the day still? Yes, yes. So that's a little bit about just an example of how you can incorporate daily fun into a dreaded thought. So self-care mastery is, how are we taking care of ourselves? From, do we wake up in the morning and do we do the stretching? Do we do the breathing? Do we do do we prioritize? And maybe that's the better word. Do we prioritize, like, I want to take care of myself early in the morning? I like the early in the morning, and I like the right before bedtime. Is, how do I really care for myself throughout the day? What is in your toolkit for that? Conscious decisions. That really, when you understand, and we all do that are here, that every decision we make has a ripple effect out there. So are we living consciously? Are we still living for others? Are we still living for fear? So making just that awareness that everything we do, we can actually stop and take a moment, and am I doing this because it feels right? Or am I doing this because I need money? Am I doing this because I don't have any other alternatives? So that's the conscious decisions thing. And knowing that we are behaving, and are we affecting others? What ripple effect are we leaving? So yeah, that's a big piece. So healthy support system. This call is part of that. Is like, who in your circle knows what you're doing? Because I hear so often, my family thinks I'm doing nothing. And so they're like trying to pull me down the medical rabbit hole. So when you can actually have ways that you can share, oh, this concept of our body heals ourselves, this specific nugget of German new medicine. So how can you start sharing and expanding to your friends, and sharing a way that they're not turned off? So there's a whole call that we could do. And then ultimately is really getting you on your soul's mission. We're all here for a reason. And like Susan, you've been on your soul's mission for decades. You knew this, like, just, I help people that have giftings. I help people. She worked with the young and the gifted, and then on the other side, the challenge that we're also gifted. But she knew that, and so that's why she did very well working with. Yep. What's Michelle holding? Hold on. Is that one of the books? Oh, that's a cast.
Oh,
Right.
Henry.
Yes, Henry,
He-
congratulations. You get to,
He broke his thumb and tore his ligament.
there we go. So now he's healing, healing, healing. There's no about it. It is what it is.
I agree, but they are pushing surgery, so
That's all right. That's a journey. That's Henry's journey. We're just gonna let him be. Going out in the
I
rain
gotta
today?
just wrapping so he can take a shower.
Yep. That's it. All right. Keep all the dangerous people away. So anyway, that's my little presentation today. So now I'll have a little feedback in just what you think about it, or if a certain category you want to work on this week. If there's a specific thing, it's like, oh, this is what I've been doing, or this is what I want to do. So I will zip my lips. And Susan.
Yeah, I thought it was great list because, you know, they all sort of relate to self-love. And I was talking to my, looking at it with my friend Diane, who was here, and I said, well, I think I'll choose my soul's mission. She said, well, you're always doing that, Susan. Why don't you do something different, you know? Well, but my soul's mission is also it's the most fun for me to learn and discover things. And it's also what helps me to make conscious decisions and all that. But then, then I zeroed in on the, now I'm forgetting. I wish it's self-care, the self-care. And because I've been, I don't know, not consciously allowing myself, but I have a presence in my life. Usually we think of self-care. So, oh no, it's a support system and self-care. We usually think of that being, bring it, bring your support system, create it. But for me, it currently kind of involves get rid of this because this triggers you every single day. And it's not good. I don't like who I am when I'm triggered. It's like, been there, done that. So sometimes that support system means, choosing not to be around certain things that are familiar or convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm referring to my frequent flyer ex-husband that comes over every morning. I mean, he always asks, but within 20 minutes of being awake, not even being awake, because I meditate and stuff, but then it's like, it's like you meditate and then you invite all the bad dogs in your house. It's like, that's not cool. Because within 20 minutes of him talking, I disagree and I speak up and I don't let him talk. And then I have to wait for him to be so pensive, and it just triggers me. So I need to find a way to just say, we need some space. Because sometimes saying no to things is self-care,
Yep, for sure.
and wanting to fix things all the time, as men often do. They can't just let things be and let things unfold. They want to fix things because we're having an issue with my daughter she's having a psychotic episode. She's in a psych hospital, and it's been very difficult, really difficult, especially not knowing, like, where's this coming from? What do we do? And yeah, I've gone a lot from the unknown to the known, and it's like, that's helpful. So I've been saying, because I heard it reiterated, something I was listening to this morning that said, your perception should include what you want it to turn out to be. Because I've been saying things like, I feel hopeful having some information, knowing this. It's not perfect, and it's not up to me to fix it. I can't fix it. And more, the best thing in order to actually see results, ironically, is to practice the law of non-interference. Like, who are you to interfere and try and save and try and rescue? It's not my life. I mean, I love her to death, but it's like, I can't take it on. He wants to bring her up here and put her on my couch. She needs to see. I'm like, no, I can't take that on, you know? And the law of non-interference, it works. It's like Gandhi's thing, also be the change you want to see. You know, it's like, let it gel. Get out of the way. Know that, of course, you want things to work out in the best way, but I can't masturbate over the problem every day. Pardon my,
You just triggered.
you know,
You just triggered it.
yeah,
Triggered me.
yeah.
I'm like, now we're talking.
So, and that's, he's coming up with ideas to like, oh my God, you make it, it's so depressing. I just end up disagreeing with you within 5 minutes of your talking. So I need to get rid of that. I'm okay with things, because the other thing I heard this morning, somebody asked this person who was being interviewed, well, what is love? And she said, love is your understanding. You know, that's what love is that it's a show of your understanding. I don't understand the problem, but I offer my understanding. I offer my openness to things. I offer the fact that I don't know what to do and I'm okay with however things are. You know, one of my favorite quotes from Byron Katie, you know, is what she said, it must be okay because it's happening. I'm not the arbitrator of everything, hardly anything. But whatever comes up, it must be okay because it's happening. Let it go. It's not up to you, you know, to fix it. Just let it be. Be okay with it being what it is, because everything's in flux and it changes. That's what I have to say.
You
I
always have just amazing brilliance. So we appreciate you showing up and just sharing your wisdom. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called a wisdom wheel. Everybody has their wisdom. So actually that's interesting. Maybe each one of you create your own little wisdom wheel.
I thought it was something you grabbed from somewhere else.
No, it's unique to me.
Tonight.
Yeah, and only because of my coaches, Gabby and Deb. So if anybody wants to like hone in on their giftings and have a business or have a passion in mind, learn how to do Instagram. They give you the shortcuts. Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm gonna talk on my banana. That's how I make fun of, like, I'm like, oh, I got a banana. I got a microphone. We always have a microphone. So anyway, it's not quite ready to eat. I don't think I'll open that.
No, it
Thank
doesn't
you,
look it.
Susan, for sharing. I wrote some
Thank you.
notes and
Thank you.
yeah, I like your line. Here I do is I meditate and then I invite the bad dogs in and
Yeah, come on in. Yeah.
do. Right. But yeah, setting boundaries, that's an incredible point. Is yeah, what is my system and who's raising my vibration and who's pulling it down? Or and it's not that they are, but it's just that interaction. It's like I put things on two sides. I want more of this and I want less of this. And so, how do you set a boundary to, hey, Joe, this is what I need out of you. When you want to come over, ask, are you up to coming over? Maybe a little script you write out. Here's how I want to operate, my neighbor, husband, friend of mine.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm up for it, sometimes I'm not. And then when it's too much, how do you say, this is too much, you may leave me? Like, that's hard to say.
Well, not for me.
Well, and that's good. That's good. It's not always easy to say that. Like,
No, it's true.
time for
Yeah.
you to leave now.
Yep.
But thank you for sharing. I'll drink to that.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Michelle, Laura, do you have any sharings, any wisdom that you want to share from either something you're going to work on or something you just learned?
I will go quickly. I wanted to say, Deanna, I think it's so cool that you did a house call. It's just cool. And Susan, I always love hearing your reflections. I want to share something about the having more fun. One thing I've been doing is very recently, like this just started a day or two ago, but it's so helpful, is I'll catch that I'm having some sort of intrusive thought, like a fear thought, anxiety thought, and I've been practicing freestyle rapping. So
Oh,
yeah, so just starting, and it's really hard actually coming up with the rhymes. So it just like distracts my mind in a really good way. But yeah, just basically going just I have a friend who's like a freestyle like rap artist. And so I think he kind of inspired me because he's always practicing flows, just practicing, basically just doing like poetry or rap on the spot. And then just kind of making fun. And it's hard, so it really distracts the brain quite nicely.
okay.
So
That's a great strategy for those that love music, but those that love rhyme, that
mhm.
have that part of the brain.
Yeah. And I mean, if rapping might feel like a stretch for some people, but it's basically just playing with words,
With
it's
a
like if
little
you
bit
like
of
to,
attitude.
yeah, if you like to just play with language and play with words. But I think that's all I'll share for now. I have to go to the eye doctor pretty soon, but I'm really happy to see everyone, and I'll get to hear Michelle a little bit too.
Okay. So and I just want to plant the seed, when you go to any doctor, what do you go in thinking, doing? What's your perspective going in?
Um, I see where you're going with this.
We're
Yeah,
preventing.
be resilient to any fear tactics and conflict shocks.
Yep. So you're going in for a particular reason.
Yeah, I have a pretty good track record with eye doctors. I just go in and get my contact lens prescription, and yeah, that's about it. Like in
Pretty
and out.
predictable.
Yeah, but you never know. It is true. I
Well,
mean, last time I was there, the guy was trying to scare me on something, and I think he was just trying to use his fancy new like equipment that he had. And
yes,
um
to be paid for it.
but no, thank you so much for that reminder. You never know. And like, yeah, just going into appointments of any kind. But this month I'm taking care of eye doctor and dentist, and I do feel pretty good about the eye doctor. It's usually pretty seamless. Just get my prescription and peace out.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, so that's a really good position for you. But for newbies that might listen to this, I want to take this opportunity. Like the way you say, oh, it's pretty routine. I don't know. So that I call the setup to, like, I expect it to be this way. And then when
Yeah.
they do this new test and find something, that's where we get the shock. So
Yeah.
I like to go, okay, I'm going in for this. And they could say anything. They could, and I make up a story that, yeah, they could say, oh, you got a big blah, blah, blah behind your, And then it's like, oh, yeah, I knew I could, because that just says, oh, I got a program going. Perfect. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah. Yeah.
setup for a shock is, oh, I went in for a routine. Like, how many
Yep. Yep.
clients
Yep.
I
Yep.
take I say, how did this happen? Oh, I went in for a routine exam and they found dot, dot, dot. That is the setup to the bigger shock. So yeah, I say go into any medical dentist, doctor, going, they could find this, this, this. I know from a G&M perspective, these are all perfectly adaptation programs in different phases. So no worries here. So here I go. So you just
Thank
blink
you.
those
Thank you. That
beautiful.
was I appreciate the reminder. I'm
Yeah.
really glad I jumped on the call this morning.
Yes, you just blink your beautiful eyes to them and just say, yes, I just want some glasses here. Have fun. All right, Michelle. And just so you know, I'm having some healings here. I have a little scare fright, cough result or a resolution, and I have a left cramp abdomen to or upper. I think it's a ductal program going. Thank you, buddy. All is well. So Michelle, go. I'll drink
I
to
got
that.
nothing. I
I
got
got
nothing.
nothing. Oh no, I don't believe that.
No, I'm not going to the pool because I started getting symptoms very suddenly last night, healing symptoms of sneezing, sore throat, headache, heavy eyes, body aches. Um, woke up this morning just not feeling well, and I have some cramping in the heart area, and so I'm in some probably lots of healings. There was a lot of things that have gone on over the last week or so. Um, but I'm looking at the wheel you made here. Uh, I need to really work on some kind of fun.
Yep.
Boy, I lack completely, and I don't know how to get out of the anxiety. Uh, yeah, the anxiety and depression has hit me pretty hard over the last probably month or two. I seem to have lost my foundation. I'm usually pretty confident and secure and trusting, and with my body and with things happening in the world, but I completely lost like my foundation. And we had another mass shooting 30 minutes from my house yesterday, 2 days ago. Uh, I mean, this is just ridiculous. The families are at a splash pad and just someone comes in and shoots 10 people. That really upset me. And I was all alone for the weekend because Kevin and two of my children went to Baltimore for a graduation party. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't walk. I can't walk very well. And my dog, he can't be left with anyone. He's pretty, he's pretty, very needy. He's 16 years old, and he's got some wounds that need to be addressed every day, and he has to wear diapers and stuff. And my son, he was just goofing around, and he, hit his thumb at work off the clock, and found out that not only was the bone fractured, but the ligament is completely torn, and there's none there now. So tomorrow he goes to talk to a surgeon. So whatever he decides, it's up to him. But just like there was just one thing after another, and I just feel completely helpless and hopeless.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bring this call down, but
No, it's not.
you
We're
know,
here. We're here.
fun trying to look or feel some kind of happiness and fun is something I really, really need.
Yeah. Well, when I see that your family got together yesterday, a lot of times if we're trying to figure out what our symptoms are, look at pictures that happened around the time of the start of symptoms.
Yeah, so yeah. And my daughter, who Susan, I know understand my daughter is also, she is highly constellated and manic depressant, and but she has a boyfriend right now, so she's in a very manic state of, she's very or I'm not sure, but yeah, she does not live here, and I cannot fix her or help her.
No?
Um, so yeah, that her, but she came over. Grandma came over even yesterday. Um, all five of my children and one of their partners came over. It was a good day. Good Father's Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a good setup for a resolve.
That could have happened because it was like an hour or so after they left, I started that I could feel those symptoms. I started to sneeze,
Yep.
and then my ears started,
This
scratchy
stinks.
throat,
We
headache,
can't
my
swallow
body
this.
started.
Self-evaluation,
Yeah,
like all
yeah,
that. So yes, I
yeah.
bet.
Because I was feeling very left out of because they went to Maryland, for this party. The whole family went. I mean, Kevin's whole entire family went. That's where his brother lives, right on the Chesapeake Bay. And I was feeling very lonely.
Yeah,
I've never been alone here in this house. There's always people coming and going.
yeah,
And I got scared. I got really scared. I was frightened.
yeah,
Not because like for my safety, like someone was going to break in, but I didn't know what to do with myself. Like with my thoughts, the thoughts that, the psyche took over and started thinking all the terrible thoughts.
yeah,
And I didn't know how, I got scared. Like, am I going to make it through today? I was really that frightened.
yeah. What the brain does, and we all know very well how it can just take over. And I just want to just do a little overview because there is a little overview on the mental health. And so when uh, Susan described her family member that is in the peak of a situation, that psychotic break. So all mental health is literally in the temporal lobe. So you can search manic depressive, manic depressive. It's this side, conflicts over here. And then when we have conflicts, fear and a scare and a fear and a scare, and I might be taught to, it just goes back and forth. So then there's levels so that when something happens, you respond like out of the ordinary. It's like that's the manic, like manic happy, manic aggressive, manic. So all the combinations of the territorial, the identity, the scares, the sexual conflicts, fear of loss, all those are bamming back and forth. So when I hear if it's true, like per her symptoms, it's somebody's going through a psychotic break, that actually is the epicrisis, per definition, of resolving two different things. So if, and the most important thing to do, like the law of accept, I turned the law of non-interference to the law of acceptance. It's like, how can you accept? So for your daughter to know, yes, this is very normal for going through this. And Susan, if you wanted to, I could offer you, if you're like, this is a little bit more specific, just so you understand that her behaviors are exactly the proper responses to her experiences, to her shocks, to her unexpected events. So if there's a resolve and then she has this breakthrough, that breakthrough is just like a zip popping, a boil, like after you burn yourself and it swells with water. That's an epicrisis. That water has to come out. That expression has to come out. And when it does in a safe environment, she's through it. But to be supported in that, to know that she's not going crazy is the most important thing. So I know I've had a conversation with her. So if she's like, I will have a 30-minute conversation with Deanna. And all I will do is go, this behavior, was something like this going on? Is it resolved? Is it completely resolved? And help her understand that so that she can go, not get caught in the medical thing. But again, if her soul's mission to find some truth and have another experience that she needs to have during this soul journey, then she needs that. But again, that's not my to say yes, she does, she doesn't. But if somebody's open and like, oh, I want to understand this now, nope, I can't go there now, then there's another lesson. And so Susan, you're calibrating, and you're just going, okay, this is hers. My boundary is no, she doesn't belong in this house because I can't handle it. So there is a clear boundary. Here's how we can support her. Honey, just checking in. I'm here for you. I got a little energy today. I can just listen to your breathing. We don't have to talk. I'm here. So offering support per her needs. How can I support you today? I'm sending love. No need to respond. I have a couple friends that they were out of town, and I came home one morning and saw that their house was burned down right before I left. So I haven't been able to offer them support. So now that I'm back, I just sent a message this morning going, I'm here, I'm back. Like, how can I support you? And until you respond, you get a bundle of love. So it is a messy ride right now. There's a lot of shifts happen, and we have to get out of our idea of life is supposed to be a ball of cherries or a bowl of cherries on top of ice cream with a whipped cream with nuts and chocolate, our favorite. Like, no, it's supposed to be a set of circumstances that help us realize that we're just living and experiencing and trying to make the world a better place, trying to be better, trying to give more love. So it's all, and it's not a linear line, as we know. It's a curvy road with lots of bumps and some holes because the road's been flushed out, washed out. So wherever we are, that is perfect. So how can we just take care of ourselves and ourselves? And how can we do the best that we can in our current environment? So, like, even right now, I have a cramp in my heart. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. We're doing all right. That cramp is perfect. That's interesting. And I just perceive it. I just talked about my friend losing their home. That's a territorial loss. Did I get a loss because they lost their home? We can do that. That was a shock. Oh shit, my friends they have no home. So we just trust.
You know, I've gone in and out of, worrying. It's like, oh God, I can't stand thinking of her being, she's curled up on the floor crying somewhere. And then I get information, which has been very scarce. And, I'm okay for today. And my left eye just acts accordingly.
Yeah.
When I have a day or two or three where it's like, I'm not okay with what's going on and I'm not liking what I'm seeing and hearing, my eye is so sore. I've got it closed all day. And I'm like, geez, and I know what it is.
Yeah.
But until I was able to hear something positive, I mean, I heard from her yesterday for the first time in 3 weeks because she's been, in a locked facility and unable or unwilling. Oh, and then I was okay. Was she okay? No, she's like out there. But Yeah, okay. She seems okay. And then now my eye is better, but it's gone off and on like 3 different times.
Yep.
It's
Um,
amazing.
Susan,
And then your
Susan,
the perception should include what you want. So when I get into the worry and notice that, I just like, no, no, I'm not going to put worry in the field. I'm sending love, sending confidence, sending strength,
Yeah,
sending, because you two are still connected. She will
totally,
receive it.
totally.
Worrying is praying for what we don't want.
Yeah,
Michelle, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Susan, is this something you didn't see coming?
not at all.
Okay,
Not at
I
all.
just, because
When-
that would be an I thing, because you didn't see something coming.
Oh,
And
totally. Yeah. Good
Or it's
point.
other child side.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Depending
Yeah.
on the specific symptom, and we don't
Yeah.
have to go through that, but that is it's a perfect point. The eyes are about I want to see, I don't want to see, and depending on the particular part of 13 parts of the eye, I might have that
Yeah.
wrong, but it could be mother child side also. So just know you made the connection. You don't, and some people don't even need to know the GNM perspective. They just need to know I'm stressed. I have this symptom, not a surprise. It's in my left side or it's in my eye. Nope, I don't want to see. And you've talked about that in the past. So again, we don't need to know the details of the program, but just we know that as soon as we accept the power of the law of non-interference, as soon as we change perspective, as soon as we just like get back into our little boat and go with the flow, like that's the answer for everything.
Yeah. You're right.
It becomes very simple, but not always that easy. So wherever we are, that is exactly where we're supposed to be.
Mhm.
So I love this conversation. I really so appreciate all of you. And I'm going to just type up some notes and I will, everybody's okay if I put this on our little YouTube channel, if they don't lock me out of it.
Yeah, I always look for them. Because you were mentioning, Deanna, that in GNM, if you look up manic depression and stuff, but I haven't been able to find anything. It's not in the learning GNM. I mean, I think the label is bipolar, you
Yeah.
know,
You can,
but I
if you go to depression, if you go to constellation, in fact, we got a little time. Let's just do that. I
I
like
think
to
it's under, isn't it under schizophrenia?
yes,
The
well,
area,
use that word.
schizophrenia is a little different.
Right.
but I know,
Here, I'll show
this
you.
particular, it might be, I think it's under there.
Okay.
Let's, okay, here's I only have 42 tabs open.
Oh,
At last, we were in the female sexual organs. So you see
Ah,
the screen, right?
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So up here, I like to do a little, so under, I know it's so under schizophrenic constellations, you can find, let's see, my computer is slowing me down. It's not, okay. Although, let's just go into, I want to see.
Yeah, I didn't find it in the index.
So mania. So you'll find it
Hi,
here,
Laura.
manic depression right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't
So
know
there's a few different places that you can find it.
Okay.
So here's where, but I also want to go back here and show you all the mental health programs are
Yes.
under this tab, which is, okay, here we go. So here's an introduction that even on this tab, if you're reading obsessive compulsion,
OCD.
OCD, procrastinator, perfectionist, blah, 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 blah. And here should be schizophrenic, flying, mytho, autistic, manic depressive.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could get there from here also. So we click here. So this, for somebody new, can be a little overwhelming, but basically it's all here. These programs, so this is primary mania, and these programs. So it can be any combination of these programs or these programs. So scare, fright, sexual identity marking, or fear, anger, territorial marking, any combination of these. So then you get into specifically her behaviors, how it presents in her. She gets quiet, she gets into a hole, she doesn't reach out, or she's manic and she's buying and she's doing all this. So it's a long read, but Susan, I think you know enough, and you know enough in your gut that in your
Yeah,
so
make some sense of it.
you can make some, and here's talking about hormone replacement therapy. And I actually have been on the move for 6-7 years that I haven't read this whole page yet. And maybe
Sure.
it's something that I read. Tracks, psychotic attacks. Here you go. When a strong DHS completes a constellation, this is the epileptoid crisis. So again, depending on her symptoms, how she was behaving during this, you can just narrow it down, and it's there. Again, every symptom serves a purpose. If I get cornered and I feel like the certain part of my body, I may back down and not say a thing. That's the depressive side. But if I feel like I need to lash out and protect myself with my words and my fist, that's going to be the aggressive side. But it's determined by the brain, not my thinking brain, what literally is in my brain.
Yeah.
So then we can understand so much better, and we're not making up stories to entertain ourselves. We're just like, the change of perspective is she's going through a healing. Here's how I can send her support. And if you are like we have discussed different times, that Michelle, as the mom of 5 kids, she could be the track of a child's behavior. And so reaching out and saying, how can I help? How can I help? May not be the wise thing. It's like, she always lashes out at me when I reach out. It's like, then that's not, you are a track. She doesn't lash out at dad. Dad's not a track. And I'm just making this up. I'm not saying it is. So that's where we can take in data and go, okay, I'm not the solution for what she needs, but I will send love.
But it is true. I am her track, and I am her trigger, and
we're all just trying to navigate this world, this universe, and do the best that we can. So, yeah, try to find some lightness. If fun is too much of a term, it's like, and I was told that and it makes sense. You can't go into a funeral parlor and bring fun. That's inappropriate. But you can show up with love. And love is taking sorrow up a couple notches. And that's what hugs are about. That's how, just a nice little creation. Doodle a picture. Michelle, you love doodling. So let that be your creative side. That would help you go with the flow to a tough day. And that's where our artistic expression helps raise our vibration. Or whether it's listening to Natalie, put Natalie's program on. So, okay. Okay. Thank you, ladies, as always. It's a lovely, lovely time. I'm going to go have some breakfast.
Well, you're a little late.
Yeah.
Should have lunch.
I'm going to have a brunch. Yes, it's good.
Nice to see everybody after having a reprieve.
Yes.
you know?
Yes, we'll try to be
So,
as consistent as I can, but I cannot
yeah,
promise. But again,
no,
if
it's all
anybody
perfect.
ever wants to lead one of these and I'm not available, I'm open to it. It doesn't have to, it can be just like, hey, yeah, let's get together. Here's a Zoom channel.
Okay.
So briefly, did you, was this a good trip? Did you help this person? And
Yes. What I found throughout this, and again, this is something I've done in different, like I've done when they've had symptoms for a shorter period of time. But this is kind of like a high end package for certain scenarios. And so what am turning this into is like a 3-month package, and this on-site visit is part of it. It's not necessary for all people, but this is part of it. So then it becomes the follow-up, and it's like we work together for every day for 1 hour every day for 30 days. And in this period of time, then I go see you. And then when I come back, we're still working together like this. But then we start work, you don't need me as much. And then you start weaning from like, okay, I got my day, I'm feeling confident and I'm using my tools. And oh, I just stepped on a track and I'm panicking. So then we have a session. So that's what I'm from my perspective, that's how I've got my system down. But now in helping her out of a fearful mindset, that's all it is. It's not, that's not all that it is, but it's symptom management and not being afraid of the symptom and managing the symptoms. So now we're weaning and she's gaining more knowledge. And there's an interesting phase when people are trying to get out of the fearful medical model and even the fearful holistic model. I've tried everything. I've tried everything. There's an interesting thing. They're like, I don't want to take in any more information. I just want to go live. But that's a big step. So it's interesting because after spending 70, almost 70 hours with me and seeing and hearing the same thing, and just, it's like, okay, I'm starting to get it. I almost have it. And it literally is the spin of a dial from, I hear a staticky station and it's like, there it is, loud and clear. I'm done counseling. I'm done searching. I just want to go live. So I feel like she's really close to that and I'm very excited. So I sense that in the next 6 weeks she will be there. So it was very successful from both our perspectives.
Productive.
great.
Yeah.
Good.
So thank you for asking. So now I'm trying to get, like, where was I while we finished the living room? So the living room update, he's sanding the walls so it's ready for a primer, and
Wow.
to do some window sills and some window trim today. So we were just discussing that this morning. And the outside, I've got some projects of putting siding on and painting, and so it's coming together. I'm hoping and the floors are going to be done next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think. So by early, let's say 2 to 3 weeks, I think I can put my living room back together.
Cool.
So yes, I'm excited.
And then you'll be able to live.
Yeah, well, I'm living. It hasn't stopped me from living. But then
And
I
then
can
you
have
die.
people.
No.
Yes, you live and you die, whatever. So yeah, then I can have some little gatherings, and it'll be a really neat environment. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. Very nice.
Yes, thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Both. Thank you, Deanna, and nice to see you, Michelle. Thank you for your input and all
Yes.
that.
All right.
Have
Be the
a good
sun,
week.
or else
Thanks.
be laying on the lazy Susan River.
Oh, that would be me. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.